Am I the butthole for going off on a mother in the toy store? I'm 28 male, my brother's caretaker, 21 male, mental age 7 to 8. Our parents decided at 18 to tell us to screw off, so when my brother, let's call him Bill, turned 18, I grabbed him and enrolled him to get his GED since he didn't finish high school, and take care of him. His chores are to clean his room, help with laundry, and set the table for supper. I get paid by the state, and you better believe I make sure his needs are met. He's my little bud. At the end of the month, for each day he does his chores, he gets a sticker. At the end of the month, that sticker gets counted as $5 and he uses the money for whatever he wants. Like toys, special snacks, etc. He loves this. He's been so good lately with chores, I took him out for burgers and fries and took him to the toy store. My brother is big. Not fat, just tall and actually big boned. He's healthy weight and overall health. He gets excited and stims by flapping his hands. You do, you little dude. At the toy store he announced he wants Barbies. Cool, no judgment, and we go look at Barbies. He's stimming and rambling about what he wanted, and meanwhile a lady and little girl come in the aisle. Not even 2 minutes pass and the lady tells us to go to another aisle. She wants to look at the dolls and his weird hand movements are freaking her out. I tell her to wait her turn. Not even another minute passes and she tells my brother to knock it off and go look at something else. Now I'm pissed. I tell my brother to get what he wants and looked at her and told her, her daughter could use a better role model. I'd hate for her to turn into such a grouchy hag. Took my brother out to pay for his Barbies, all while ignoring her, telling me how much of a butthole I am for saying that in front of her daughter. AITA? NTA. If she was so freaked out, she could find a different aisle. She's raising her child to consider people with disabilities as scary or abnormal, and that's just crafty parenting. Unless your brother was saying or doing something inappropriate, she had no right to ask him to leave. I nip inappropriateness in the butt ASAP. All the little dude was doing was talking about wanting to see if his Barbies could wear the boy clothes and stimming. In the bud. Just for future reference, no worries, very common mistake. Dang, I've been saying it wrong for years. Thanks for the heads up. No problem. I thought so too, but once it was explained to me it makes more sense. 'Cause it's like destroying it before it blooms. To be fair, you'd probably stop doing something after getting nipped in the butt every time you did it too. I don't know, I might start doing them more. Nipping me in the butt equals surefire way I follow your next command, smiley face. Noted. My bunny seems to think this is the way to get me to listen to him. I wish I was joking. Seems to be a very reasonable bunny response. After all, it's not like they can smack you to get your attention. My sister's rabbits do this too, especially when they have it in their mind to get something from you, like a tasty sugar-filled carrot. Come to think of it, cats will do it too. Nip away, little friends. My rats think it's the best way to get my attention, for pets or maybe table scraps. They boop me in the butt from inside the couch. Nip me, daddy. Ha, me too, heart. I don't know, I like it in the butt. Me too, buddy. Name checks out. True story, when we were very little my father nipped my butt when I wouldn't get out of the chair he wanted. I was laying on a beanbag playing video games. He won that day, lol. Depends on who is doing the nipping. NTA, and, possibly the best big brother ever? Also, this is how adults talk to each other? I like it. You're both good people. And yeah, he is a great brother. I have mad respect for original poster for taking care of his brother while others don't. I was going to say this. Original poster is such a good brother, Bill is so lucky. Little girl at the store, not so much. Unless she has someone else around besides her terrible mother, to teach her how to compassionate and open-minded about people and their disabilities, she'll grow up to be just as judgmental as mama is. Or, like it says in I Shot the Sheriff, kill it before it grows. Exactly. People usually say you got another thing coming, but it's think not thing. The whole saying is if you think XYZ, then you have another thing coming. Oh, Lord. Don't even get me started on those dog-eat-dog world nitwits. That doesn't even make sense. Dog-eat-dog world, people. You're not wrong. But not quite right either. Both are acceptable. Think is the older of the two. Thing is generally an American way of saying it, but they're both common enough on either side of the pond. Web link. Yup. It's a gardening term. You can't let your plants produce fruit too early, they need to put their strength to the roots. So you nip off any flower bud you see so it can't bear fruit. Thanks for me too. Today I learned the what and the why. And that stimulates the happy in my brain. Exactly. It's about finding the bud of a flower that is undesirable and will eventually produce lower quality fruit. The other thing is it's also about thinning out too much good, also to focus on the right amount of good so they are supported and can grow. That little girl will remember her mom getting told off for mistreating someone with disabilities for the rest of her life. Man, it is bud, but you can nip it in the bud if you want. NTA. I'm a mom of boys and I'm bursting with pride for both of you for being such good guys. Hope that isn't too weird to say. I'm with you, mama. My 23-year-old is autistic. He stims often as well, but is doing great shopping for himself at game stores. Bro was being cool and he has every right to shop in whatever aisle he wants, and if the lady didn't like it, she can go to another aisle or store. That's what happens when you go out in public. He had as much right to that aisle as she did. My 27-year-old self is autistic too. I can support myself/hold a full-time job, but I was doing so much masking that it was destroying my mental health. I had to relearn to let myself stim in public, and it's freeing as F. You're good people to let your kids and siblings stim freely and get what they want. I collect toys too, cuddling with my stuffed shark right now. F what other people think. Yes. And hooray for you. I'm actually late diagnosis ADHD, and didn't realize that half my anxiety behaviors are in fact stimming. And how much masking? I mean, at this point it might be 65% of my personality. I also have ADHD but didn't medicate until my 30s when I finished law school and had to work in real time. Masking is nutso. It's so odd to think that so much of life has been spent faking it all. No wonder imposter syndrome runs deep with me. Compared to real life with shifting priorities, undergrad and law school and bar exam were easy. I'm 38, autistic and ADHD. I'm also a mom of 4, 3 are diagnosed autistic so far. I spent my entire life being told I'm too much, embarrassing, weird, etc. by my family. I spent so much of my life masking I have no idea what my true personality is. I'm working hard to let my kids be who they are and not forcing them to mask like my family did to me. My 4-year-old does this awesome stim dance and it just makes me so happy watching him be free. I'm also late diagnosis ADHD and I knew about stimming, but this is the first I've heard of masking. Thank you. I've been reading up on it and will continue to do so. Late diagnosis is so tough, but I'm so glad I live in an age where the online ADHD community is able to help me learn more. Smiley face. I always thought stimming was specific to autism. That explains so much about some of the behaviors my boys and I exhibit that I just thought were odd behaviors. I wasn't diagnosed until in my 40s and my boys weren't until their late teens. Wish I had known more. Hi, if you don't mind me asking, what are your anxiety behaviors that ended up being stimming? I have ADHD as well. I don't know about most people, but I'm AD and I tend to twirl. Most people don't even notice or I just shrug it off. It has become the norm to spin in circles during regular conversation in my friend group. Smiley face. You just so reminded me of my 17-year-old highly functioning autistic son. He will totally tell someone to F off if they have a problem with him cuddling with Pingu, his stuffed penguin, in order to calm himself. He can't always throw his weighted blanket in his lap, but he can grab Pingu pretty easily. It's hilarious to see him with his stuffed animal tucked in his lap while he proceeds to whip ass in another playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077, completely unapologetically himself. I would not have it different for anything in this world. This. My 15-year-old, who happens to be on the spectrum, is the funniest, smartest, deepest thinker I know. His weighted blanket is too much to grab in a pinch, but his stuffed Elmo is readily available. He will question himself on still having his Elmo at his age, but he gets nothing but encouragement from myself, his dad and siblings. And sharing posts like yours with him helps him to understand just how normal he is in the world of autism. Just because they're normal isn't neurotypical doesn't mean it's not normal. Heart. and agreed on the gaming at the same time as holding their stuffies and destroying other players, only with my son at COD and TF2, smiley face. The crap this kid comes up with absolutely floors me. Whether it's his snarky sense of humor or his observations about the world, he's constantly amazing me with his big old brain. His dad and I are both so proud of him and encourage him to be himself. Watching him grow into himself has been the greatest joy of my life. He wants to develop video games and/or write for a living someday, and I'm sure he'll get there eventually if and when he's ready. Until then, we got him covered, and with a weighted blanket at that. He knows he will always have our love and support, no matter what. I think that gives him the foundation to be whatever he wants to be. I really could have done with a parent like you. I'm just lucky to have a kid like my son, victory hand. I am neurotypical and have plenty of stuffed toys. Stuffed toys and other toys are awesome. The only people who think you can be too old to enjoy things are just denying themselves a lot of fun. I'm 24, almost 25, and I'm autistic and have ADHD as well as some major brain trauma. I didn't even learn I had a mask until I was 21, and I've been trying desperately to unlearn the mask since then, but due to lots of childhood trauma surrounding looking autistic, it's a slow journey. I'm trying to undo the shame and embarrassment surrounding it. I should be able to stim all I need to, but it's hard not to worry about how I look, especially when on the outside I look really rough and tough. It's all a survival mechanism, looking tough. In reality, I'm no more threatening than Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. Alas, E can't hold a job, and I struggle to support myself, and am very grateful to have a partner who happens to be able to do the things I can't do, and I can do the things he can't do. So together we make up one whole semi-functioning adult. He comes from a family that has lots of ableism in it, and while he's had to relearn what he knows about neurodivergent folks and disabled folks, he has never made me feel bad about stimming. It's no big deal to him, and I'm grateful for it because he accepts it without infantilizing me about it. Literally just responding to send you some autistic solidarity, smiley face, stim freely, enjoy what makes you happy, fully inhabit your truest self, and thrust both middle fingers skyward at anyone who has a problem with that. We're autistic, not broken. Purple heart. NTA, you were a lot more polite than I would have been. Also, you sound like a wonderful brother. I try. Patience and talking to him helps. People act like he's a puppy. He's on the lower end of spectrum, but if you really stop and just explain things to him and let him process it at his own speed, then he's fine. He just needs to take his time, slow and steady. You are an awesome brother, and so not the butthole. I want to meet your brother. He sounds wonderful, and so do you. NTA. And I hope that you'll continue to educate ugly people like that. Now maybe her daughter will have a chance at actually becoming a decent person. Man, you're a cool effin' bro. Please don't ever stop being so understanding and nice. Also, if he ever has questions about what dolls fit what clothes, r/dolls might be able to help. Reddit link. My best friend cares for a teenager with Rett syndrome, and everyone treats her like an infant except those close to her. They talk loud and slow and are just obnoxious. She's not really regressed at all, but she has little control over her body. She has to use a computer with gaze control to speak, and she doesn't do it much. She usually just expresses herself with her face and squeals. My best friend and I are some of the few people that treat her like the very normal moody teenager that she is, and she loves it, and so do her parents. We roll our eyes for her when someone is babying her, or help her complain when she's doing homework. Dropping an F-bomb in conversation with her from time to time makes her quite happy, smiley face. All with her parents' blessing, I promise. Lol. He's super lucky to have you. I'm on the higher end of the spectrum, but I keep having problems with my family because they refuse to understand my disabilities, which only makes the small stuff turn into massive problems. One day at a time, my friend. We are rooting for you. I work with people who have complex needs similar to your brother. By George, are you doing fantastic? And you absolutely understand how to treat people well. Respect and patience go a long way for people with significant behavioral and learning challenges. Please keep doing you, and feel free to reach out if you ever need advice, an advocate, or to vent. I'm a care worker for a young autistic lad, 20 years old but mental age of a 3 to 4-year-old. He has 4 members of staff for 14 hours a day, and 2 members of staff overnight. You have a hell of a lot of respect from me. I know firsthand how hard it can be to look after someone else and be aware of how they process things, their sensory needs, how they communicate, etc. Please feel free to PM me if there's anything you struggle with or think that you could be doing better for your brother, as I may have some tips and tricks that help, but it sounds like you've got it all sorted. Smiley face. You're an amazing older brother. Can you please retell that story again without the grouchy hag bit, because it brought me so much joy? You sound like an amazing person and your brother sounds like a big teddy. He's so lucky and so are you. Not the butthole by any means. I work in an elementary school with kids on the spectrum and kids with other, mostly severe, disabilities. Can you please explain this to my freaking coworkers with no patience? You sound like an amazing brother and caretaker. Keep doing you. That's very in keeping with what you said his mental age is. Yeah, I would have flipped her off while walking away from her while she is still telling me I'm a butthole. NTA King, I have so much respect for you. You handle your brother's care excellently, and also don't buy into the whole gendered toys bullcrap and let him get what he wants regardless. Keep doing you, and all the best to you and your bro. The way I see it is simple, they're toys, and they don't have gender. Some days he wants to play with Barbies and only play as Princess Peach, and some days he's playing with dinosaurs and playing as Mario. I'd be exhausted if I try to police his playtime. Good for you. I love when parents let their kids pursue their own interests without forcing them into stereotypes. My son wore pink Crocs for an entire summer because you know what, I have better things to do than argue shoe color with a 3-year-old. We got so many poor kid, forced to wear his sister's hand-me-downs. Comments. One old lady even tried to insist on buying him new shoes herself, and he would get mad. He would very emphatically let them know those were his shoes. He picked them out himself. There's nothing better than watching a 3-year-old put a busybody in their place. Similar here, my son plays with the toys he wants. For a period of time pink was his favorite color. So he had a lot of pink things. Do I care? Nope. I'm not into the whole gendered toy thing, but I'm also against those which go to extreme with it and force neutral or opposite gendered toys on their kids. Let them be kids and just play and enjoy the toys they like. My 2-year-old son is the same. He is insane for dinosaurs and trucks and mighty pups. He loves pink and babies and wearing his sister's nail polish on his toes. That is adorable. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.